If you want me to mark any densities on here, any targets, just let me know. But we haven't really seen anything beyond sparse.
Right.
Not a lot of areas with none of them, though. No?
Yeah.
The viewers that were with us since the beginning of the dive, the probes that we set out there are going to stay in place for about a year. They're planning a year-long deployment, so we won't be picking any of those up at the end of our dive. To be confirmed when they'll be picked up and by who, but the goal is to get those long-term data sets. Taking a look at, how these things may change, or if there's seasonality, if there's, daily, weekly, monthly type of flux. Just basically constraining a lot of the chemical and physical data for this local area.
Not quite yet. I'm gonna.
Okay. Yeah, we're in a kind of indent bowl-like circ feature.
Oh yeah.
You can see in Argus Meso.
Or Herc Meso better, right?
Herc is real close to it, but if you look at the general thing in Argus
Yeah.
Meso, kind of.
How hard is it when we're along a wall here to kind of peek up over the top to the left?
Depends on how tall the wall is.
Yeah, and how far away it is, but we might have the tether for a bit. Certainly coming up straight, if you look at Argus's Meso straight ahead, we've got a wall in front of us, so it looks like we'll be able to.
There's the top.
Yeah.
And there's an octopus.
It does keep going
Yeah,
up.
see there's octopus over there. It's just that I have a feeling that some more of these seeps
more
are going
on
to be
top.
closer to the top.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we can slide Argus more on top of the wall.
Yeah, if you want me to do
And we
that.
can do
Yeah,
the
why don't
top.
we take a shot at that, just see what
Yeah.
we see.
We can try to do that.
If that's okay, if it's...
No, we can absolutely do that. I just, by the time we feel it, it might not be that,
Oh yeah, you
because
can
we're
see a
actually
lot of
laid
them on
back
the left there.
250 meters from the ship.
Gotcha.
So I can step the ship over that direction though. Let's see. Offset track line 20 meters. How far is Argus off? Let's go 30 meters. Bridge nav. Can we offset from our track line 30 meters to the southeast? Well, we're facing a different direction. From the bearing of the line, it would be port. Port of the track's bearing, yes. Thank you.
Chad, could you talk a little bit more about people are interested and amazed that these octopus can just
What
sort
do
of
we have here?
change their
Oh,
metabolism?
just another grenadier. Sorry, go ahead, say that again.
No worries. People are interested in the change in metabolism that these octopus have to undergo to maybe just sit for a year and not eat or more. How does that, do we have any idea of how that works? How do they change their metabolism? Why don't they starve within, a couple weeks?
Everything happens so much more slowly in the deep sea, including metabolism and respiration and all those biological processes. The giant Pacific octopus, for example, only lives 2 or 3 years, and it broods for over only 3 months, while another species that has been found down here to take 54 months to brood. So just that whole process is put into more of a stasis, just because of the colder temperatures and everything slows down. It's what they've adapted to do over the millennia, but I certainly don't know how much their metabolism slows down, let's say from when they're a predator for their stages of life until they get to brooding stage, and how that process slows down. I'm not entirely sure about that.
Well, to the extent to which metabolism requires oxygen, it must have adapted to really slow down
Mm-hmm.
in the deep ocean.
Okay, we're offsetting Argus now. It'll just, we're only going to slowly feel it, yeah. It's actually pretty good, our position right now, being off like that.
I can change my heading a little bit to track you if you want to fly.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's still a pretty big wall. Yeah. You want to track down there for now? We'll still have... Oh, did you change your heading slightly to port,
Me?
Paul?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, just double checking just so I can take a look at the mezzo and see what's what. But we still will have some terrain upcoming. I don't know if it'll be a wall though. It doesn't look like it. Whatever this is, whatever this slope is.
I'll change my heading back now. What was the line?
213.
Oh.
213.20. Another one of those bamboos. A couple in the background or something like it at least.
Chad, viewers want to know, could an octopus move your temperature probes? Are you concerned about that?
Oh man, that's a great question. They certainly can be very strong. Those temperature probes aren't extremely large, but they are attached to a metal T-bar, which I'm not entirely sure of the weight, but I think it would take a pretty monumental effort for them to be moved by those octopuses.
The opposite direction. We want to head back the other way. Thank you.
Ooh, swimming one. See you.
Yeah.
That's what I couldn't tell. But it looked like we were going that way, and then now we're going this way, so. Quite a bit. So you can anticipate that in, an hour. There'll be an Argus move. All right, swimmer. Oh, that's why. Bow thruster.
Such a cool locomotion. I aspire to be that efficient when I swim, but it's not at all how graceful I look.
I like it when they do that. They lay out like a fighter plane.
Mm-hmm. Just
Like
glide.
something out of Star Wars.
Oh, totally. Love it. Giant Pacific octopus are really strong. I've had some of those like grab me when you're scuba diving, and it's a little alarming that you're like easy invertebrate. Like
Yeah, right.
like
I have a backbone.
I'm used to being pretty big, and if you could let go of my leg, that would make me feel a lot better. I have a dive buddy who's had their camera, we were doing science underwater, and they'd set their camera down at the end of a transect and swim down the transect and swim back. As they swam back, their camera was not where they'd set it, and they swam a little further, and a giant Pacific octopus had like a couple arms wrapped around it and was like hauling it back to the den, I think just because it was like shiny, but had like the whole housing and dome and was just like dragging it, strong-arming, dragging it across the seafloor.
Was that good footage in the end?
I mean, no, I wish that it had been recording.
Oh, it wasn't recording.
I'd like to imagine it kind of being like a little, you'd see it like pop up from under the screen, like, ooh. whoop, you know, up into the dome.
We had a bear grab our underwater camera this
Really?
summer and play with it. And we were trying to get it back.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
It was,
How far did it take it?
it just played with it in the same spot for a while, but it did not care that we were there. It just kind of threw it around. And that has that nice glass dome, so you're like, please don't scratch.
How did the footage turn out?
It looks like it's trying to take a selfie.
Well, it looks like a bear playing with a camera.
So what kind of animal was that, Aaron?
It was a brown bear.
A brown bear.
It took my camera.
I've had harbor seals pick my
You're like,
equipment
you
up.
give that back.
Yeah. They're fun. Well, they're funny. If they see something they want to investigate, they do.
I don't know what it says about us as like humans, but some part of my brain is like very delighted when I see a picture of an animal that looks like it's taking a selfie, like something about, you know, so the idea of a bear taking a selfie makes me very happy.
It didn't turn out very well, unfortunately.
Aw.
IDK might delete later, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, it felt cute, fishing for salmon, felt fluffy, might
Thought my hair looked good.
All right, yeah, we're back on track there. You may feel a bit
there's
of
now
a
good chance
bit
for
of a bump
numbers.
out. Just relax.
That's the same kind of thing, the little Oreo fish that we were seeing a lot in kind of the mesopodic kind of depths around Samoa and down through the Central Pacific, and they just always look like they are giving like full side eye. You know, they have this very large eye when living in the twilight zone, and they're a very small body relative to their overall eyes, and they just kind of like appear, you know, into these like glancing runs at the vehicle. And we had got one that swam sort of into the body of the vehicle, and then it was just appearing like right on out of view and then right into the camera feed. Looked absolutely enormous because it was a couple inches away from the dome.
I love that.
Wow, all that stuff.
What is that creature in the upper left? Where is my stick of pointing?
Is that an acorn worm?
I couldn't tell.
That's a male. Cool.
Where did it go? There. What is that?
Acorn
That's
worm.
an
Is it?
acorn worm, yeah.
Oh, wow, okay.
Hemicordate.
There was one extra little limb,
There's another one
but I think it
there.
was just a shadow. Had me confused.
The octopuses did let go of Hercules' manipulator earlier today. Returned back to their home here. The great story to tell their friends.
I was going to say, it's the octopus's fun day out.
Hello to Alicia Desani, one of our ocean science interns from this year. It's great to have you tuning in. Thanks for following along with these dives. Alicia sailed with me in Kingman Palmyra Jarvis cruise a little bit earlier this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's it going? I guess she can't really directly respond.
Give it a
Going
minute.
great.
Ren,
Thanks for asking, Ren.
Ren,
Yeah.
you sounded really disappointed.
Yeah.
How's it going? Wah, wah.
It's not like George.
I know, George is much quicker on the response.
Yeah, last time I saw her was, I think, Pongo, I think. I don't think that was her departing
That's the
port, I
last
think.
time.
Yeah.
Hmm?
That was the last
That was
time.
the last time.
On.
Whatever this thing is.
I just got a hey, Rennie.
Hey.
Hey.
That's someone's dinner.
Hey, what is that?
Huh.
Oh, it's moving. You're a creep. You're
Oh,
a total
look
creep.
at that.
Is that one of those things, the predator things? No, I'm serious, right? Jamie, do you remember
Are
that
you thinking of
conversation?
an arrowworm?
Yeah, those tend to be inside old salp
Oh, okay.
houses. That was interesting though.
Yeah.
Okay, back row. Do these octopus have temperature-dependent sex determination uh, in their development?
That I'm not aware of.
Okay.
We don't know much about this particular species, so that's it. I don't know.
I was gonna say, I was like, good question, topic I have not heard raised yet.
No, but you know, we obviously have found over 1,000 within warm water here. And for everyone at home, just as a review, the warm water here is, we have found up to 10.5 degrees Celsius, probably a little bit warmer considering they're tucked in nooks and crannies that we've never measured. But that's about, you know, in the low to mid 50s in terms of Fahrenheit. But it's less than 2 degrees Celsius down here near freezing. So to them, it is warm water. Now we do see these species, as we've been encountering during this dive and others, that reproduce, we assume anyway, just fine on normal rock that is not warmed up by water. So again, we don't know what is attracting the octopus. We don't know if it speeds up development, or that's a great question, if there could be a change in sex ratio based on temperature. If there is, then I guess they're all females or males getting born up on the on the slopes.
Yeah, that would be really interesting. I mean, I have to imagine that even minus the venting environment, I mean, a mama octopus sitting on top of the eggs is not going to be, you're overcoming like a really big temperature differential down here. So, you know, even the case that there would be temperature dependent, I would think the range would have to be very small. You know, you're not reptiles by burying things in sand and, you know, different things that happen there. Like, you really have a lot more control over the temperature than you would in a completely immersed environment. It's just cold, and there's only so much you can do to insulate yourself. Dry suits, wetsuits.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine what the adaptive significance would be of creating all offspring of one gender based upon temperature in this situation.
Would
Yeah, I'd
instantly
presume
create that 50 to 1.
Yeah.
All right, team, I'm still so impressed. There are folks all over the world watching with us right now. We have the US, we have Canada, we have Australia, the Russian Federation, Poland, Japan, the UK, and Germany all tuned in right now.
Dobry wieczór, Russia.
It's quite late for some of these folks.
Yeah.
Way to stay up. Rally. Send us a question, send us a note. Happy to be sharing this adventure with you as we cross this segment of the seafloor.
The front row has suddenly gone quiet as they're all sharing chocolate.
Thought we were being sneaky.
Oh, no.
Take it
We're
away,
watching
back row.
you.
We're just going to lob
We
a question
can,
at you.
we
and
can
I'll
get
be
away
the-
with it when there's not anyone at chart table.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for that meddling chart scientist.
That's right, that's right. Oh, I love to be the fly in the ointment.
I always like when
Thank
people
you.
tweet back to us about what their setup looks like, where they're watching Nautilus live. We've gotten some awesome photos over the years. People have been, you know, whether they're watching as they're commuting somewhere or if they're watching, you know, posted up in a lab or in an office. Just got a note, somebody said they've been watching with us since this morning, and every time we say, ooh, they flip over their screen and see whatever we're talking about.
So they're double dipping. They're listening to us and watching other stuff.
Oh, absolutely. I know folks that, you know, Dr. Eric Cortez's lab often will have us on one screen, Okeanos on another screen, Falcor on another screen if we all happen to be diving at the same time, and it's just like a wall of pushing, you know, a wall of pushing the unknown back.
Well, that's pretty incredible that in today's day and age that we have access to this content so accessible. It's yeah, it's a testament to how far science has come, and technology, but also that folks are, you know, that interested in what's happening in our oceans and what we're discovering and what areas that we're exploring. And so, you know, the interest in science and exploration is definitely increased with all of this information that we're bringing to the public. So it's fantastic. Everyone's tuning in.
It also shows what a great job our communicators are doing, talking to the public and interacting with the public and getting them
Speaking of,
excited.
somebody got rid of the north, east, southwest. Sorry, Aaron, I was talking
fine,
about
Rennie.
the operation thing.
That's good.
It didn't sound good.
Yeah, I was like, just your segue, Rennie, that you were like, speaking of, I was like, what you said had nothing to do with it. Aaron was
It was speaking of something that they mentioned offline, and
I
I
was just
realized I
thinking-
was online.
Yeah.
I made a mistake.
The communicators are doing a good job. Speaking of, we got rid of the north, south, east, and west.
No more cardinal directions, everybody.
No one.
I was actually, thinking, I forgot how funny Rennie was, but I'm taking that back now.
Ooh. Man, I got how many hours to regain this status?
Yeah. The answer is 1.5. Yeah.
We did something on
2.5.
least favorite living thing under the ocean. And we tricked someone into saying on SPL Alvin Pilot as their answer, and I don't remember
Who
who
was
we
that?
got.
It was during our watch last year.
That's funny.
Oh no.
Was it the nav?
We might have tricked the nav into doing it, and
Me?
it was, no, I think it was K2.
Oh,
It was
okay.
K2.
And it was right when Bob Waters was coming to relieve me.
It's pretty good. Yeah, what you were saying about the the outreach and stuff. I thought about that when I was a kid. If I had access to, if I was into the deep sea stuff at whatever time of my curriculum, or just general interest, that I could write into people that were actually doing it and have them respond to the question. And it's kind of mind blowing that kids can do that now.
Yeah.
Hey, Remy, just as a preview, I know the ship is approaching the end of the line.
It is indeed, yeah.
Directly, I don't know, 60, 70 meters to our port is where we started that third of a transect.
This one here. Oh, okay.
Yeah, where your cursor is. That's where we're going to want to go and start back to the northeast after we're done with this line.
Okay, yeah. So maybe we'll try to truck in the middle where uncovered ground.
Exactly.
Get over there.
That'd be
and then
great.
Go all the way up. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks
Speaking of
everyone
that, I
who's-
will hold the ship soon.
And thanks everyone who's written in and let us know about the map screen that is actually created and affixed to the live stream from shore. So we've sent an alert in for the folks in the Inner Space Center who managed that map, but we don't have the ability to remotely reset it here from the ship. So that'll come back online hopefully very soon.
What's the fourth screen?
The fourth screen is the map that gets superimposed into the quad as it's distributed out.
You never break the fourth screen.
Yeah.
Unless you do it twice. And it's like 16 screens. It's Tesseract.
So we got some stocked crinoids, Persingid stars, some stocked sponges, black corals. Looks like a squat lobster down there.
Yep. Bridge nav.
Yeah, some of the squat lobsters on this.
Can we hold
really
position
big.
here? Thank you.
Yeah, there's some really, really giant ones. Which is cool. I usually think of them being itty bitty. Let's see, a question came in of what other vessels will be streaming after the Nautilus season ends. I do know that Okeanos Explorer has wrapped up their 2019 season, so they are all done. There is a Schmidt cruise right now out from the 12th to the 17th, and then they'll continue to have some expeditions into October and November. So if you're interested in more deep sea exploration, go check out our friends and partners at schmidtocean.org.
Look at the size of that squat lobster.
Large.
Someone asked us earlier, and I didn't get to the question, but
You can see it on Argus.
you know, what kind of deep sea creature would you
Could we zoom?
would you want
Sure.
as a roommate? I think it was a riff off of your earlier question, Rennie, about not wanting to wake up with a sea
which would
spider
you
in your
want?
house.
I have to think about that.
That squat lobster is not slurpable.
Something
No.
that acts most as a house plant, like the
Full
nice
wide.
coral,
Yeah.
would be a great roommate.
I think I'd want a sea cucumber. They're good at vacuuming.
Yeah.
It would be like a nice compliment to the
Nature's
Roomba.
Roomba.
Now, would you want one of the swimming ones so that when you startled it, it popped up and like moved to a different room? Like flew up in the
That
air
might feel a
and
little scary.
settled down
I
somewhere
like the
else?
slow, crawly ones. They're
Okay.
very predictable.
Yeah, they're not good with cats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Neither are sharks.
Not even a cat shark?
Ooh.
Although like a giant Pacific Grenadier, I feel like could put some moves on a cat. Like some of these Cuskills and the big Grenadiers they'd be a handful. I think the original question was, would you want one of these octopus as a roommate? They'd be really still and quiet for like 4 years.
Really low
No, they're
maintenance.
trainable. I mean, you know, you could be sitting in front of the TV and say, go get me some chips.
And I think it would be like, are you sure you need chips? I think it would be smart enough that it might talk back.
There was a PBS documentary on the, what day did we arrive?
Yeah, it just came out, didn't it?
Yeah, about the guy in Alaska who had an octopus in his, it was a researcher, but they decided to set up a tank at the house for more study, you know, more observation time. And noticed that like when they turned on the TV, the octopus would position itself in a specific spot that could then watch the TV.
Did you watch the whole documentary?
Most of it.
I really want to see that one. It looked really good.
Most of it. It was the day that we flew in, and so it was on in the hotel room.
That's really
That's
cool.
amazing.
It looks like we got 4 or so octopus down there.
Yeah.
Looks like it, yeah.
I think 2 are in brooding position, and the one up towards the left is not.
Yeah, how can we get that center one, or this number 2, if you count from the left? Center, yeah.
Aaron, go for it.
Yeah.
There's another one above it in that crack.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so this one, and I don't know about the one above, but this one looks like it's brooding, even though we can't see eggs, but okay.
There's a whelk, too, and I thought I saw shimmer at one point. Okay, moving on.
Yep.
So Chad, Vera wrote in that they thought the warm water vents in the deep sea were always hotspots of biodiversity, but it seems like these shimmering spots are really just associated primarily, or at least really close, with the octopus. What do you have to say about that? Do you think that these vents are impacting the biodiversity on a bigger scale, or?
It's hard to say. Certainly the seeps that we found at the garden and the spa and a lot of the cracks and crevices, there's a very rich community, much higher in diversity and density than the surrounding seafloor. As far as their impact on the local biodiversity, I would say it's got to have some sort of positive impact in terms of larvae and eggs going out there. Certainly the octopus are gathered by maybe 1,000 or 2,000 here, and as we saw today, we've seen at least a dozen eggs hatch today. So it's got to be
amazing.
Yeah, helping to populate the surrounding seafloor. Much like the corals up on Davidson Seamount too, it is an oasis in the deep. It's kind of one of the nicknames we've given Davidson, and I think that these little low temperature vents might be miniature oases on a little bump in the seafloor here.
Yep. It will be downslope for the remainder of this transect.
Do I want to change my heading?
Yeah, but we're going to go to backwards. You can... Let's go around the other way.
Oh, I see. Are you going to get in front of Argus and go backwards? Or you want Argus to watch you go backwards?
Argus is going to watch me go backwards.
From which direction?
Do I want to flip around as well?
As you pass me, yeah.
And go.
All right, so these are long zigzag lines. Reach the end of one. Gonna reset, reposition.
Oh, we're not at the end of the line. It will just see more of the bottom if we go down it backwards.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, we have approximately, depending on the reality of these USBL pings, about 100 meters left to go for the ROVs. The ship has reached the end of the line.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Are you bragging now?
First.
Yeah. George has bragging rights on it, not me.
Yeah.
Tether's looking okay.
Yep.
Looks great.
Yeah, the tether actually looks really good.
It does.
All right, so I got the question today in the live interaction. Your students wanted to know what it would be like to go down in the submarines. And we chatted about the fact that
almost a full 360.
We aren't going down in the seafloor, down to the seafloor. Instead, we're sending these robots down.
So
but
come around to 045 as you swing past me.
Oh, okay.
Kind of a similar question just came in about,
045.
do you think we didn't, question for, I guess, for everybody, do you think you'd enjoy spending long periods of time in an underwater laboratory? Like, would you actually want to live underwater? I'm thinking of like
Atlantis?
Yeah, like Sea Lab or
Sea Lab.
like in Florida.
Yeah, right in the Keys they have that.
Yeah, I just drew the biggest blank. The one in the Keys.
Aquarius?
Aquarius.
Thank you.
Yes, I was like, I've been there, I've been inside. Yeah, Aquarius, where you're living underwater and then making scuba diving excursions out. How would y'all feel about living in there?
I had the opportunity to go to Aquarius, and it kind of fell apart, unfortunately. So I was not able to go.
Oh, no.
But I did have a chance to ride in the Alvin to the Octopus Garden about 7 months ago or so.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my first real deep sub trip. I'd been a couple 100 meters down with the Delta sub before, but that was a completely different experience. And if you're claustrophobic, it's definitely not for you.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't get claustrophobic, thank goodness. So it was certainly a thrill, but...
Did you know that before you went down?
Yeah.
Good question.
Is there like a practice test? We're going to lock you in this
Yeah,
tube?
he had to pass the mental test.
Hang you upside down, make
Yeah.
you really cold, and wear woolies, and put you in uncomfortable positions. while holding a joystick. Yeah, that's kind of what it was. Yeah, but you know, the ability to, you know, there's something to be said about personally being there and seeing the landscape and context is nothing like looking at a TV screen.
Right.
And that is certainly worth a lot to do that once or twice, or more if, depending on the project. But you are cut off from not just obviously the outreach that OET does here, that's one thing, but you're cut off from the crew, the scientists, your colleagues, anyone else who can help you identify things, suggest the next step to do or the next place to go, to share information back and forth. There is a walkie-talkie, but that's very limited, and it's usually meant for instructions and kind of logistical things. So, and you're limited to bottom time of, you know, 10 to 12 hours or so of total, including ascent and descent. Here we're taking a dive for 30 plus hours. We're on shifts. We can eat. We don't. Doesn't matter how claustrophobic you are. It's not an issue. And we can help identify things.
You can get out of the seat.
Yeah.
Very true.
Go to the bathroom.
It is, yeah. Just something
just dying.
It's just dying. Yeah, something look weird about it. There's a black skeleton. We were
But
talking
you can
about.
see that's a good shot. You can see the black skeleton, and that's
Some of the polyps have died off.
So just a bunch of pycnogonids on it?
yeah. There's like 2 of them or something.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. I need to adjust that. Otherwise, we go from down to up and down to up and down to up. All right, let's
More of that xenophyophore.
How long was your Alvin dive total?
One to the top of the Davidson Seamount was a total of 6 hours.
Okay.
And the one to the Octopus Garden was a total of 8. But bottom time was less. It was minus the ascent and descent. I think it was 3.5 and 5 hours, respectively.
Yeah, they have a faster ascent speed than we do.
You spin going up, don't they? I think Alvin spins on the way up.
Yeah, I honestly don't even know. We were going up at 40 meters a minute. I didn't feel anything, but you don't feel much in there, which was sort of surprising.
Oh, that's interesting.
Well, it's probably gradual, their acceleration to get up to 40. You know, they're not, so.
Pinned to the bottom of
Yeah.
the
Yeah, the only thing we really felt was 100 meters above the seafloor upon descent, they do drop those weights, and you do feel kind of like the elevator slowing down to get to a floor, and when you're going down. And then same thing, releasing weights to go up. You kind of feel that drop off in the acceleration.
Yeah, to clarify for viewers, the human-occupied vehicles have limited bottom time, and that's due to a few things. It's due to the CO2 scrubbers that take the carbon dioxide out and the oxygen supply that you can bring down with you. It's based on just fatigue and safety factors that determine how long the team.
The pilot can pilot.
Yeah, the pilot can pilot, and they deem it safe for the team to be down there. And you know, there's a lot of. It's one of the things that I think is we don't talk about a lot on this ship because we've built a system to manage it, but there's a certain amount of fatigue from like just staying really sharply focused, you know, looking at one thing for hours and hours. And so we stand 4 on, 8 off generally on Nautilus. Sometimes with different expeditions or different staffing models, we need to go up to 6 hours, but that's a long time for pilots and navigators and video engineers and everybody to just be really, really dialed in and really reactive. Robots don't need to eat or sleep or go to the bathroom. They don't require caffeine in the same way that our team does, and so they can just stay down once they're down there.
It's amazing what the mental difference is for piloting for 6 or 7 hours when you know that there is someone who can relieve you, versus if there's no one who can relieve you and you know that you have to see like this dive through to the end.
Yeah.
Mentally it seems
What's
so
on
much
that?
longer.
To the right.
To the right. The
What?
stock thing?
Yeah, that stock thing straight ahead over there.
Yeah, let's zoom in on that.
What is that? Seems to have something on it.
Aaron, go for it.
It looks like more of that serpulid.
Serpulid worms.
Serpulid worms.
Yeah, on the
colonized.
stalk.
up off the bottom on the
Big
stalks.
stalk,
That's
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's the second one we've seen like
Interesting.
that.
Huh.
Totally taken over the skeleton of
Don't
somebody.
see that very often.
No.
Normally they're on a bit harder of a
Yeah.
substrate and
They're stuck to the rocks.
yeah.
I did see that earlier when off shift, but yeah, it's like a little deep sea Christmas tree. In a
Yeah,
way.
yeah,
It
it is.
Full wide. Yeah, if we
So
could get
festive.
Christmas tree worms
Wow.
onto a stalk like that.
More like Nightmare Before Christmas, but
Yeah.
it works.
And I wish I had a sleigh bell in here.
You know, that thing there could be just as unique as the octopus garden.
It's
Mm.
true.
I've never seen serpulids do that.
Mm.
Prove us wrong, audience.
I don't think I have seen them like that.
Yeah, I've never seen them like that. So between the three of us, I'm sure we have a decent amount of bottom time.
Looks like it could be another male below us. That third arm is curled up again.
Yeah.
And we seem to see that
Mm-hmm.
tendency.
Video, let's push in.
Yeah, I see the tip.
Yeah, and it goes off at that sharp angle.
Yep.
All
No,
right.
I'm not going to show you mine.
Hello, gentlemen.
Wow.
Look at the squat, parachuting squat lobster.
Look at me.
That was
like
All
a
right,
photo
we gotta
bomb.
back up fast.
Wow,
Yeah.
that was great.
that's amazing. All right, so we're that kind of general idea that we put out there earlier, that these males might be sort of solitary and on the move, wandering around the landscape. We're seeing that play out a little. Definitely an interesting pattern.
But with the exceptions of the ones that we've seen swimming, we don't really see them moving around on the bottom.
No, we've seen a couple of females moving, but
Yeah, they're not making
percentage-wise,
haste.
it's very low.
Yep.
Yeah.
Rennie, are we there yet?
Getting there.
Viewer wants to know, what is the weirdest thing anyone remembers taking down to the seafloor as part of an experiment?
Cement boots. Cement-filled rubber boots.
Yes.
It was not part of an experiment. It was part of a collaboration with a NASA lander. And Dr. Pete Gerges wanted to make the connection and put some footprints on the seafloor.
I still have one of those.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
Did the cement ever finally harden?
I think so. They didn't like that I wanted to take it through the airport security, though.
I can imagine. We're sending a message.
It had, so we had like a plunger stopper sticking out of a rubber boot full of cement. The stopper was so the ROV could grab it, and they felt it was a potential bludgeoning tool.
So they make you check it?
No, I managed
she
to
bludgeoned
convince
them.
them it was harmless, or I was harmless, maybe.
Wow. I was
Do you
gonna.
really see
Jamie,
me
you were
bludgeoning
just a
someone
mule.
like this?
Do you see, does it seem that Argus is slowing down a bit?
I think so. We'll hold here for just a moment. And see.
Yeah, and take a look at that pace.
You had cow
Try to hold
bones,
this
whale
delta.
bones.
Come down a
Yeah,
little
Pigs.
bit.
no, we'll hold for here right now just to see if you're still swinging or not. I think you're swinging, but just a little bit. Weird things that we've taken down to the seafloor. We had
pigs.
a pumpkin bucket scoop, you know, like a Halloween.
Oh, like a
pumpkin
little
bucket.
plastic scoop?
That was kind of neat. We did.
In Hawaii, we used to do a pumpkin carving, an actual underwater,
yeah, the underwater
carving.
pumpkin carvings.
A bunch of us that go scuba diving and sit down on the sandy seafloor and carve pumpkins. Have contests because
Get a job, hippie.
Get a job.
And did you?
And
It was like
basura?
you only had as long as you could like make a tank last at 30 feet to carve the pumpkin, right? So it was like adding extra complication to, you know, your art skills. Which my art skills are not that fabulous, but my like
Your time management skills.
yeah, my efficiency, my breathing efficiency on a scuba tank is real good, and so it's the only time I could like win at pumpkin carve.
Arias is still swinging, but not a lot.
Good job. Thanks, Reddy. Which one of us works year round?
Okay, fair.
Fair. Zing. Ow.
Yeah, I think she wins. Who's building a house? Who doesn't live anywhere?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vagrancy is it's a lifestyle.
Rennie is gonna come live at the Center for Wayward Maritime Youth.
Yeah.
In my house.
Bridge now. Can we have 1 step 30 meters bearing 125? Thank you. I think Argus will still swing a bit. I think the DVL we lost quite a bit, so we're actually closer to the ship than we think.
Yeah.
But we can still drive kind of towards the end of this transect, and then we'll shift over. We'll drive midway up between these two transects until we get to the center, and then we'll shift over
Okay.
to complete. So they started in the middle and came down, so we're just going to go up between these two and then go over and then go up there.
All right. So you can hold your current heading.
Thanks for the invite, Megan.
You're welcome.
60 or 060.
We even let you pick your room.
Yeah, that's good. What are we gonna end up running? For
The line.
the inverse of 213.02.
Which I will tell you momentarily. 33.53.
Should I come around to that?
Yeah, might as well. We're gonna step 125 a little bit,
Yeah.
but I'm just gonna kind of slide over for that.
Okay, Jamie, you can kind of mark that this is the end of this transect here.
Copy that.
Unless you want to actually, because why don't we flip around and you drive to the end downslope and just say we completed it. Is that what you want to do, Chad?
How much do we have to the end of the line?
About 60 meters. So Argus, we're facing now upwards. We can kind of flip
Right.
around, go see the transect through to the bitter end if you want.
Yeah, we don't have to actually do that.
Okay.
Why don't we go ahead and start the ship and everything back up to that start 7 to 8 transect point?
Cool. Roger that. Then Greg, what you're doing still
Come down a
works,
little bit.
and Jamie, that still stands that we ended that transect.
Roger.
Yeah, the octopus have not been in high densities, and they've obviously petered out, so I think we're good.
Right off screen.
Yeah.
There's a massive
Yeah.
boom. Yeah.
A pool of 1,000 was 60 meters away.
So Chad, octopus question coming in for you. Can males only give sperm packets to one female, or can they give them to multiple females? Second question, do they die like the females after that?
They do die after that. I'm not entirely sure the species, how many they can give sperm to, unfortunately. But these, normal shallow water species of octopus only live 2 to 3 years. So we presume that this species lives quite a bit longer just because everything grows so much slower in the deep sea. But that's a really interesting question. Yeah, there's one right there. It's an interesting question to see what kind of strategy those males may have in this regard, if they can only fertilize one female or several females. Because so far what we have seen is a much higher ratio of females to males. That's not to suggest that
Aaron,
the population isn't 50-50, but certainly here it is. That is a male.
Oh.
You can see the modified third arm right behind, right to the left of the head there.
Yeah, that's maybe the clearest view we've had of it so far. So the arm that's just to the left of the mantle, you can see the tip looks a little bit different. It doesn't have the same suction cups going all the way sort of out to the end. It's a heterocautelus.
All right, full wide, and we are redlining like.
Yeah, just moving over here like that. Gets the current backwards. But we're not, if we were doing that holding position, that'd be another story. I only moved 30 meters over, and then once we're sitting here for a few, as we start to go in the other direction, we'll see if we can get any more reasonable assessment of your, for a DVL reset.
Okay.
So a question that came in a little earlier and we didn't have a chance to get to it is, what do people like about living on a ship? Anyone?
Bunk beds.
Yeah.
The food. The food is always awesome.
And the food is constant, you know, when we leave the ship, I remember that I have to somehow provide myself with food, and either cooking or buying it.
Actually, I want to get more specific. It's table bacon.
Oh, table bacon.
Table bacon. My roommate.
Some people are either a fan or not a fan of table bacon.
What is table bacon for the viewers at home?
It's breakfast that gets put out on the table
and
after
dinner.
Is that sea
breakfast.
cucumber swimming?
Where's that?
No, he's just kind of tumbling.
Oh.
Got hit by the lasers.
Yeah, all the leftovers from the previous meal get set out on the table. And there's always a big plate of bacon.
And tater tots.
Tater tots.
Well,
French
not
fries.
anymore. I ate those before watch.
Been enjoying the bagels lately.
Yeah.
I like leaving watch at night and seeing what fish are around the ship. That's one of my favorites. And it was really fun down in the tropics to have them be, you know, big sharks and...
Oh, fish are around the ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I heard on the ship, and I was just like...
Sometimes it's on the ship, flying
Yeah.
fish. A little miscalculation in their escapes.
Splat.
But yeah. We
Have to
had
clean them off the
lots of
windshield.
mahi and tuna and...
You know, going through the Pacific,
awesome.
the same region, even 10 years later, the amount of flying fish I've noticed is much
Way
diminished.
Down. Yep.
Like really, really drastically diminished.
Yep. What are we doing?
Okay, I'm going to start the ship move. We're going to go bearing 3-4. You guys ready?
Yeah. Oh, we didn't fix the spinny thing.
Huh? Oh, you're good. Right. Bridge nav. Can we track a line bearing 034, speed 0.5 knots? The distance will be 1.1 kilometers. That's correct, thank you. So then when the ship reaches the observation point right here, which is about when they started their transect, I'll shift the ship back over to the other line.
Can I go?
Yep.
Another 30 meters, and then hopefully by the time Argus hits there, it'll also offset.
What is that?
Looks like a TNA4, is it?
Yeah, looks like a TNA4.
Yep, yep,
Yeah, neat.
yep. With a hitchhiker.
Yeah, maybe? Or no, those are part.
Oh no,
those are,
yeah, that's
No,
right.
it's part of the structure
That's
there.
right.
You can see the cilia.
You can.
That would be something to see a brittle star on a TNA4. That would have been a first.
Oh, we did see a sun star eating a rockfish. So
That was, yeah, scary.
Full Halloween. Yeah.
Yeah.
full wide.
Okay.
I'm gonna hit it with thrusters here in a moment. Yeah, Lang caught its way to go if you're a rockfish, not Sunstar. Guy made some bad decisions.
That was some sort of lobed TNA4. I don't know what kind though.
Yeah, that's cool.
I like when the TNA4s have something dark in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
So that rockfish with the Sunstar had a lot of time to think about its bad decisions.
It's true, yeah.
It's going nowhere fast.
It's a slow demise.
If you haven't seen this picture, go on to Nautilus, or sorry, go on to Twitter and check out, you can just search for hashtag Nautilus Live, and there's this amazing photo of the Sunstar eating a rockfish.
Aaron,
Totally the stuff of nightmares. Good Monday morning motivation though. Keep moving.
Keep moving.
Don't settle down.
And
Quick feet,
watch
quick
for
feet,
those
quick feet.
Sunstars.
Yeah.
Little picnic on it.
Yeah, something like that. Tiny guy. Enemy.
So is the ship doing a move to the end of the other transect?
Yes, it is, and as the ship reaches that midway point, I'll offset that line by 30 meters, and then that'll bring the vehicles hopefully over there by the time we get there. Is that okay with you, Joe?
Yeah, no, I just thought we were going to do more of a diagonal up to the point that is labeled start transect 7 to 8.
Sorry, let me take a look here. So what I'm currently doing is we're going straight in between, and then we'll shift over and go finish this line here.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, we can do that too.
And then let me see what you wanted to do. Go straight from here to
hit a rock.
Do you want to go this way?
It's perfectly fine. It's
okay.
essentially doing the same thing. I just did not want to duplicate the end of that transect.
Yeah.
I thought the ship was moving to that end point.
Yeah, I think that should work. So we'll cover new ground here on this section.
Exactly. And then shift over and then finish that transect.
Aaron, full wide.
Okay. And then what were you thinking after that? Do you want to do some of the ones on the southeast or the northwest?
Most likely the southeast. The northwest seems like it's not extremely populated.
I'd agree.
Do you think that it could be that the flow only comes out on one side of this feature?
Yeah, you know what? Most of the flow seems to come out near the top or very close to the top. We find very little evidence down on the southeastern side. Even with Imbaru, we kind of, we haven't seen most of these features, most of this feature, I should say. But the flow itself does seem to be coming out of the top 50 meters in vertical height from the summit of this feature.
Alright, I'm going down a little bit, but I think we're okay on tether.
So is this the small feature to the south?
I think you're over here. Do you mind if I do a reset?
Davidson Seamount?
I'll go for it.
I just think you're a little far. You haven't been moving too much, have you?
No, we're still moving backwards.
Okay, yeah. I think that you are here. Good enough. Reset now. Jamie, I just did a DVL reset.
Copy that.
And the ship is starting to move, but Argus has not begun. We'll let you know when Herc starts to track forward so you can mark the beginning of it.